Welcome back to Soulful Strategies with Kathleen Amy. This is the place where business meets intuition and where we talk about strategy and systems in a way that actually honors the fact that you're building something inside a real life with real capacity and that your nervous system is part of your business, especially if you're running a solo business and you're a leader in your business, whether you like it or not. And today I want to talk about something I keep seeing both in client work and just collectively in the way people talk about business online, which is this idea that you should be in launch energy all the time, or at the very least, you should be launching or posting like you're launching all the time. And I think it creates this subtle pressure underneath where if you're not constantly promoting something or driving a specific outcome, you start to feel like you're falling behind or like you're not doing business properly. And it just isn't true, because there is a difference between maintenance visibility in your posting and launch visibility. And when you don't have a language for that difference, you end up swinging between these two extremes. Either you're trying to treat every month like a mini launch, which means everything starts to feel really urgent and heavy and slightly frantic, or you avoid launching altogether because the last time you tried, it felt chaotic and exhausting and you don't want to put yourself through that ever again. And usually underneath both of those patterns is structure and it's rhythm. It's something steady that holds your visibility when you're not in a big promotional season, so that when you do decide to launch, you're not trying to build trust and make sales at exactly the same time. And just as a side note, if you're listening to this and thinking, yes, that's exactly what's missing, I did create something called the Soulful Social Rhythm. It's a self-paced visibility framework that gives you a repeatable structure to come back to each month, so you're not rebuilding your content from scratch every time you show up. I'll pop that in the show notes for you below. So if we talk about maintenance visibility, it's really that steady layer. It's the part where you're showing up in a way that feels consistent for you. That could be 3 posts a week, it could be 4, it could be daily, whatever it is for you. It feels consistent and alive, but not like you're pushing. You're sharing your perspective, you're nurturing trust, you're reminding people what you do, how you think, and what matters to you. And you're doing it in a way that you can actually sustain. And it doesn't always look impressive from the outside, although it can, depending on where you are. It's not really designed to create like spikes or like viral content. We're not really ever designing for viral content, but it's designed to create familiarity so that your presence becomes more normal to people. And I want to say this really clearly because I think there's a really common misconception about maintenance mode. People hear maintenance and they think, oh, cool, so I'm not really selling. I'm just doing my filler content. I hear that a lot. Let's just post some filler content. I'm just keeping things warm until I'm ready to launch again. No. Maintenance visibility does not mean that you stop mentioning your offers. It just means you're not in full amplification mode. You're still selling. You're still reminding people what you do. And I talked about this a few episodes back, that you're always selling, really. There's always a way that you're selling, even if you're not explicitly inviting people. If you are posting authority content, you are selling your perspective. If you are posting nurturing content, you are selling that connection piece. You're always selling in your business. It's just whether you're being intentional about it or not. So you're still selling, you're still reminding people what you do, you're still making invitations. You're just doing it in a really steady, integrated way without the pressure of trying to create a spike in sales or like a viral moment every single week. And this whole idea of filler content genuinely makes me a bit horrified, because if you're looking at your content and what you're here to offer the world through the lens of filler, that is not the right energy to be approaching your visibility and your business with. It's like you're telling your audience, you're telling the universe, this doesn't really matter. I'm just putting something up to keep the algorithm happy. And that's not the energy we want. And I'm not saying you need to overthink your content. I'm not saying every post needs to contain your entire spirit and soul and be written and rewritten 100 times. Not that. I just mean intentional. Every piece has a purpose, even if that purpose is simple, even if the purpose is, I'm reminding people that I'm here and this is what I do and this is how I can help. It still has a purpose and it's still selling something. That's the difference. And this is where having a rhythm helps, because rhythm gives you categories and structure. So you're not reinventing the wheel and you're not defaulting to filler. You're rotating through purposeful angles: authority, connection, nurture, invitation. Selling then becomes something that is woven in, that you just do, rather than something that you only do when you're launching. And so that was maintenance, but then launch visibility is different. It has a focal point. There's clear invitation. There's a defined window, usually depending on how you launch. Not everyone launches the same way, but you're amplifying something specific. And what I notice is when someone hasn't built their maintenance visibility in a steady way, their launch visibility starts to feel like an emergency. They suddenly need everybody to pay attention. They suddenly need sales to happen quickly. They start posting more, talking louder, throwing anything at the wall. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. And it's not really because that's wrong or they're doing anything wrong. It's really because there's no runway. They've been trying to save visibility for launch time, and then launch time arrives and now visibility has too many jobs to do at one time. I've worked with clients who come to me 2 weeks before opening something and they're not intentionally doing it last minute. It's just that life has been full and they've been in service delivery, and then suddenly they realize they want to sell something. And it's like, okay, now I need content. Now I need momentum. Now I need people to care about what I'm offering and who I am. Now I need people to buy. And if the launch doesn't meet expectations, which it usually doesn't, I'm going to be honest, it dents their confidence. And the story becomes, oh, maybe I'm not good at launching. Maybe my audience isn't ready. Maybe this offer is shit. And that's just not true. Often the offer is fine, more than fine. It's fab. The missing piece is really that there's not a steady layer underneath it. And your maintenance visibility creates runway for your launches, for your offers. It's when trust accumulates. It's where your audience is going to slowly absorb your language and your philosophy. So when you do move into a launch season or your offer, you're not introducing yourself and selling at the same time. You're simply amplifying an invitation that already makes sense to them. You're amplifying the next step and it already makes sense. And this is especially important if you are in a service-based, relationship-led business, because urgency might grab attention, but it doesn't build trust from scratch. If someone needs to feel safe in your world, if they need to understand how you think, if your work is intimate or nuanced, then maintenance visibility is not optional. It's actually foundational and it needs to happen. So if you've been feeling like you're either on or completely off, or like your visibility turns into panic the moment you need sales, I want you to zoom out and ask what season you're actually in and build that steady layer first. Are you in maintenance? Are you in launch? And let that hold you and then amplify when it's time. And before I wrap up, I want to give you something practical. If you're not sure what season you're in, or you're feeling really stretched between money, energy, capacity, I've put a free resource in the show notes. It's called the Resonant Review. I use it myself in my business. It helps you look at your money and your energy together so you can decide what you're selling, how you're showing up from steadiness instead of pressure. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I just need a simple structure that helps me maintain visibility and sell without turning every month into a launch, that's exactly why I built the Soulful Social Rhythm. It's a repeatable weekly and monthly framework that rotates through authority, connection, nurture, and invitation. So you're not rebuilding your content structure every time you sit down to create. That link is in the show notes as well. Thank you for spending your time here with me. I know you're so busy and I'm genuinely grateful that you press play. If this episode resonated, I'd love if you left a review. It helps this podcast and videocast reach more women who want to build businesses with depth and steadiness. And I will see you in the next episode.